again. It's Nancy, ready to show you month 9 of our Cabin by the Lake block of the month. We're on the home stretch now, and this month is really fun. It's all about fall, and you're going to make 9 of these super cute fall leaf blocks. So you're going to have a series of background fabrics, and you're going to have leaf fabrics as well. And so when you are getting ready to start sewing your blocks, you need to make sure that you're using all the same background fabric for the block and all the same leaf color block. So your leaves are going to look like this. You're going to have the same background and then the same color of leaf. So each of the 9 leaves is a different leaf fabric, but some of the backgrounds repeat themselves. So this month we're going to do half square triangles. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Another month where we're going to be doing half square triangles. So just a little refresher, I'm going to take the background block. I still love using my quick quarter tool and my Frixion gel pen, and I just make sure that I can view that point underneath my little viewing line, and I'll mark a line on either side of my quick quarter tool. And to keep this tool from slipping, I use one of those like little ruler, you can't see them because they're clear, but like a little sandpaper dot, or my little rubbery dots, and that way it doesn't shift around. So I've got my piece marked, and that's where I'm going to sew. I'm going to sew right on that line. So you're going to place your squares of leaf fabric and background fabric together. You're going to sew on the line and cup them apart to create your half square triangle units. And then these are going to get squared up to 2.5 inches. So you also have some solid fabrics that are just going to be kept squares. And then you also have your other background square. It's one of our squares, and it's going to be cut in half. All right, and it doesn't matter, you know, if you're cutting it right side up or wrong side up. I'm going to cut this in half from corner to corner on the diagonal. I'm just going to slice it until I have 2 pieces. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the little strip that I've cut for my stem, and that's going to get sewn together. So I'm just going to lay my stem fabric right side down on that bias edge that I cut, and I'm going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam all the way down, 1/2 at a time. Since I am sitting down at my sewing machine, I'm just going to go ahead and sew on those marked lines for my half square triangle so that I can do a demonstration on how those are squared up again. So I'll sew on both of these marked lines. And then I'll just cut these pieces apart. So for my half square triangle unit, now that I've sewn on both of those marked lines, I'll cut it apart right in between those. And so now I've created a half square triangle. And I'm going to press this to the dark, which is also my leaf color. Press that to the dark. And then I've also sewn 1/2 of my stem to the square triangle that I cut on the diagonal. And I'm going to press that as well to the dark. So there's my piece pressed. And now I'm just going to place, and you're going to square this up so you have plenty, but I'm just going to basically center that just with a little bit of that stem fabric on either side, like this, and I'm going to sew my other 1/4 inch seam. And I'm going to press that to the dark as well. So you should have just a very, very small little strip of stem. There it is. And now I need to square this up. So I'm going to do a squaring up demonstration again. And this time I'm going to, let's get a little closer. There we go. So here's my half square triangle unit. And I'm using my Creative Grids ruler. And my ruler has a diagonal line that's going through the diagonal line of my block. And so that way I can place this with that 2.5 inch marked line on this even edge inside here and my diagonal line right through the seam. And I'm just going to cut off my excess. And I can turn it around and measure and do the same thing, the opposite direction, cut off those little tails. So I'm going to have all of my half square triangles are going to be squared up like that. And then I have my other unit, my stem unit. This one's going to be along the same lines. So I'm going to line up that diagonal line on my ruler, and I'm going to center that in the center of my stem. So you can see I have excess fabric inside and outside. So I want to cut off all 4 sides. So I'm going to start with these 2 sides, like that. And I'll flip it around. Now that I've cut 2 sides, that cut edge goes right up against my 2.5 inch line. That diagonal line is straight through my stem again. And cut the other 2 sides. So there's my cute little stem block for my finished. Let's zoom out a little. Whoa, extreme close-up. There's my cute little fall block, and after I've got all of my half square triangles made, I'll be able to lay this out so that you can see. I can kind of lay out part of it. This is going to be sewn together in rows. So you always start by sewing your rows together and then sewing those rows together to create your block. But there's kind of like part of it. This piece hasn't been squared up yet. You can see it's not quite right. But that's the next block. You're going to make 9 of those cool leaves, and then you'll be ready for that last month. Thanks for participating with the month 9 Cabin by the Lake Block of the Month. Enjoy the fall weather.